And next topic is, I have already discussed it, this topic is, even in Hatha Yoga, certain values are said to be necessary for success of yoga. And those values are that the first verse speaks of negative values, disvalues, whereas this is the Hatha Pradipika of Swatmaram, first chapter, verse number 15 and 16. These are the values and disvalues said. I first go through the values that are positive values. And for the success in yoga, one must have the enthusiasm, perseverance, discrimination, okay, and then what is that? Unshakable faith, courage, okay, and from where to bring it? And very interesting thing is that though they are in yogic literature, these are not yogic values. Yoga also needs values for the realization of its projects. The Hatha Yogic project cannot be realized in the absence of these values. And from where to bring? In bazaar, there are no injections of values. We have to, from where this enthusiasm, perseverance, even Patanjali speaks of these values when he says that Abhyasa Vairagya are necessary and Chittavritti Nirodha requires Shraddha, faith, Virya, adventure, Shraddha, Virya, and memory, and so on and so forth. In other words, this goes to substantiate. They are not yogic values, but yoga also feels necessity of them for the realization of their projects. And yoga cannot be materialized in the lack of enthusiasm and so on. And the another verse, the negative values destroy yoga. Too much eating, too much excess of effort, and too much talking, and all these things are negative values. The story is that not only Patanjali Yoga, but even Hatha Yoga is in requirement of values consonant for the realization of their aim. And that's the reason why, since the beginning, I am repeatedly saying that yoga requires realization of values. And this was about the next one also, values, realization, and what you call with Ashtanga Yoga. Yes. In Ashtanga Yoga, we will be discussing to certain length the values in the form of yamas and niyamas. Very important. I will devote little time, more time in that, and then yamas and niyamas and values involved in asanas. So here value education, Mulya Yoga through Ashtanga Yoga, and in this I also include, after asanas, I will discuss the Kriya Yoga. There is the next, I think. Yes, this is the yamas and niyamas. See, again, I am going to say you that these yamas and niyamas, they are considered as very important aspects, necessary aspects for the realization of the aims and objectives of yoga. And aims and objective of yoga is Chittavritti Nirodha or Samadhi. But unfortunately, what has happened, these yamas and niyamas have been given lip sympathy in yogic curriculum. They are very important, but then they are not given that important. And I tell you that the failure in yoga in experience, the failure in yogic experiences, the obstacles in yogic experiences are because the base of yama and niyama is weak. When in advanced practices we come across certain temptations, siddhis, we have to overcome them. And for overcoming them, the base is yamas and niyamas. Yamas and niyamas are very important. They are the factors because of which materialization of union, materialization of yoga is necessary. And these yamas and niyamas are going to constitute part of asanas and part of Kriya Yoga also. And what I want to put in front of you is that there is in the practice of yoga a synthesis of what you call joining of many factors. Unfortunately, we keep definitions separately, yama niyamas separately, asanas separately, and Kriya Yoga separately. But all these, every single yogic experience is the synthesis of these factors. Believe me, the experience of balanced state of mind, experience of balanced state of mind is the product of synthesis of definitions, yama niyamas, asanas, and Kriya Yoga. Try to understand me. See, Kriya Yoga involves for its realization, Kriya Yoga involves bringing together the synthesis of definitions, yama niyamas, asanas, and then Kriya Yoga is constituted. But then, before that, how important these yama niyamas are, which are full of values. In order to understand that, let us try to understand. I am not going to discuss all the 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. What I am going to do is that I am going to give a technique of understanding yamas and niyamas, which you can apply when you teach value education through yoga. And the technique is that first I have given the clear concept of yama or niyama. There are 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. Each yama, ahimsa, non-violence, truth, satya, and so on. The first I have tried to make the concept of satya, ahimsa, non-violence, and so on and so forth clear. And then I have given some questions, self-questioning regarding the following of yama. In what sense I follow the yamas? To what extent, to what degree, to what intensity I am in a position of following these yamas? Why I am not able to follow these yamas? What makes me not to follow these yamas? And then, after making the concept clear, some self-questioning, and then some tips to follow the yamas and niyamas. This is the procedure. I shall repeat. Every yama niyama is accompanied by the consideration of 3 topics, 3 points. First is clarification of the concept, then self-questioning, and then some tips. Okay, and these yamas are the principles of life, and they are obligatory. Patanjali calls them Mahavratas, great vows. Patanjali calls these yamas as great vows. Why great vows? What is the sense in which they are great vows? They are necessary, obligatory, compulsory. In the sense of compulsion is this. See, if you want to play the game, you have to follow the rules. Okay? It's not that I want to play the game, but I will not follow the game. Similarly, if you want to realize certain aim, you must follow certain rules that make that aim possible. And those rules are yamas. And they are necessary. If you want to reach those aims, following of the yamas are necessary. It is in this sense, yamas are Mahavratas, obligatory. If you don't want to achieve that success, if you don't want to realize that project, you need not follow the yamas and niyamas. But their obligation is of the type, if you want this, you must follow this. That is the necessity, obligation, Mahavratas. So now, very quickly, we will go through the nature of yamas, concept, and then self-questioning, and then some tips. Okay, next. See, ahimsa, it literally means lack of violence. But in our life, ahimsa has a great application, wide application, deeper application. Reverence for life, whether it is animal life or vegetable life, we must have reverence. And that reverence also is a form of ahimsa. And the philosophy of live and let live. Not that I alone deserve living. Everyone who has life deserves living. This altruistic attitude, philanthropistic attitude is the mark of this. So live and let live. That is the ahimsa. So these yamas and niyamas presuppose certain philosophy to be adopted. And depending on your purpose, you can choose to adopt them or not to adopt them. But then the bare logic of yoga is that if you want to achieve this, you have to follow these rules and regulations. So let everyone be happy. This tendency brings me mental health. No grudge, no hatred. That is the sign of mental peace. So if you want mental peace, then let us have the prayer, let everyone be happy and not I alone. Then spirit of tolerance is very much necessary. Don't be intolerant. See, ours is the pluralistic world. Our world is full of variety of religions, attitudes, variety of people. Some of them we may not like them, but then we must have the attitude of tolerance towards the religions, towards the cultures, and so on. Otherwise, there will be no harmony. And yoga, another name of yoga is harmony, and this harmony will come only when we adopt the attitude of tolerance. So, and ahimsa is the expressed through this value. See, look, the one value, ahimsa, has embodied in it so many other values. Spirit of tolerance, live and let live, and then solving problems with peaceful dialogue. That is also a form of ahimsa. So, and then secularism. It is said that if I have to understand my religion, I must also understand others' religion. That is this. So the spirit of secularism is also a form of ahimsa, and this is necessary for reaching the success in life. That is, we are not doing any favor by following these yamas and niyamas. No. They are obligatory, they are necessary rules to be followed for achieving what you call a peace in life, a balanced state of mind in life. And next one. This, as I have said, every yama or even every niyama, okay, is accompanied by clarity of the concept. Just now we have clarified the concept of ahimsa in a particular way. You can add according to your understanding also. Then I said that self-questioning also. Now, regarding ahimsa, these are the questions. Meditate on these questions. Don't answer to me, to answer yourself. Okay. What belief do you have that cause you interpret others' action in a negative way? Try to understand the question. This is also a form of violence. When we interpret others in a negative way, that is also full of violence. So what causes you to interpret others' behavior in a negative way? Be subjective, introspective. This is what value education through yoga teaches us. Do you give excuses to yourself for behaving negatively with others? More excuses you give to yourself, more violent you are. Because when you give excuses for behaving negatively with others, that is also a sign of violence. Then, do you grumble against anything that happens? There are certain people, they go on grumbling about anything that happens. This grumbling also, look, what a vast form this ahimsa is taking, grumbling. And do you find pleasures in negative people? If the answer is yes, you are of one type. If the answer is no, you are of another type. So these questions can be put for educating the children, educating the learners in value education. Do you need to blame others as a way to protect yourself? Do you feel the need to blame others to protect oneself? You go on thinking, contemplating. Contemplate on these. These are universal truths, very necessary. And this is what yoga, and that's the reason why yoga has accepted thought necessary for yogic way of life. Next. This is after self-questioning. Some tips are there. There can be many tips, but very few tips I am given. See, nothing can hurt you without your consent. Do you agree with this? Nothing can hurt you without your consent. Why you abused him? Because he abused me. But why you got hurt by his abusing? See, he has no control over his emotions, but we have control that. Even if someone hurts me, I should not mind it. And that's the reason why nothing can hurt you without your consent. Husband and wife hurting each other because they are ready to get hurt. That's why there is this strife and lack of balance and so on. So another, observe your true motives for doing what you do. We have one motive and we do something, so there is no match. So do not compare yourself with others. Do not compare with us. So this is about the ahimsa. Next is truth. This is the spectrum of truth, concept clarity. See, truth is pursuit of truth, and pursuit of truth is nothing but pursuit of knowledge, because knowledge and truth are very much needed, related. So, truth, and as I have been saying, these yamas and also niyamas are necessary for realizing the project. And truth, pursuit of truth is very much necessary to be successful in the project. How? I tell you logic. Try to understand logic. And this is the logic of Kriya Yoga. It is in this way. The general logic is that for any project, we want human resource in us. And what is our human resource? Our human resource is 3 Shaktis. What are those 3 powers on the basis of which we can realize our projects? Those 3 powers are knowledge power, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, action power, and Ichha Shakti, that is will power. These are the 3 Shaktis. And these Shaktis have to be built. We are not born with these Shaktis. We have to culture these Shaktis. And out of these 3 Shaktis, Jnana Shakti, Jnana, knowledge, in order to become successful, we must have knowledge. Our action must be based on right knowledge and accompanied by dedication, willpower. See, our action is to be based on our proper knowledge and accompanied by willpower. And how to build them? There are no injections in the bazaar of Kriya Yoga or Satya. See, more if we are attracted, fascinated by our aim, realization of any aim requires building of or increasing, developing these 3 powers. And one of them is Jnana Yoga, Jnana Shakti, Jnana Yoga. And pursuit of truth is necessary, helpful as a means for developing knowledge, and hence dedication to truth. If we want knowledge, we must be dedicated to truth. And readiness to accept reality. Whenever we deny the acceptance of the reality, there is a fear. Fear is nothing but denial of truth. Fear is, so open-mindedness. A person who wants to pursue truth must be open-minded, scientific-minded, free from kleshas. In yogic terminology, when you will be open-minded? When you are free from kleshas. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha and abhinivesh. Okay. Then, to think freely and critically. Pursuit of truth is pursuit of the habit of thinking freely without bias, scientific way, objective way. This is the purpose of value education. And the ability to develop value education is to develop the ability of thinking freely and critically, independently. Value education is not telling to do right things. No, this is not the process of giving ready-made, predetermined right values. What values have to be realized must be decided by the learner himself or herself. So values are not a matter of imposition. Values are not matter of imposition. Do and don't do. No. What to do, when to do, how much to do, all these things need to be decided critically after critical thinking. Of course, in the beginning, you can hold the hand of the child. but not throughout the life. So, and again, this truth-loving capacity, the thinking freely and critically, is the very crux of the value education. Very crux of the value education. Think freely, critically, rationally. And then to think realistically, we must be realistic. What is meant by realistic? Don't consider means as ends. Means, see, money, power, material things are just means. Don't consider them as the end. That is thinking realistically. Money is just a means to purchase the things and not end in itself. I cannot say that my ultimate aim in life is to earn money. That cannot be so. So, see, look how the deeper thinking of yama, that is truth, is very much necessary for internalizing the values. This gives you the correct perspective towards life. So again, be objective, spirit of inquiry. Truth following also, science, knowledge develops only with the spirit of inquiry. And if you don't have the spirit of inquiry, okay, then there is no use. Then also accept what one cannot be changed. You have to accept that which cannot be changed. And these are the values for pursuing the knowledge. And pursuit of knowledge in yoga is called Swadhyaya. And Swadhyaya is part of Kriya Yoga. I am slowly building a Kriya Yoga, and following truth and other yamas are part of, some of them are part of Swadhyaya. Okay, and next yama is that, see, self-questioning about truth. Just as there was self-questioning about ahimsa, what is your definition of truth? Or do you sometimes misrepresent the truth? Ask yourself. Or do you compare yourself with others? Do you keep your words? What is your personal code of conduct? Do you exaggerate facts to support your point of view? Or do you twist the facts for supporting point of view? Are you able to express yourself honestly and openly? That is also truth. And then, what spiritual truths you are aware that you do not live by? It's a very interesting question. What things you think that they are right but you don't follow? What things you think they are wrong? What things you know they are wrong but still follow? That is the important question. Yoga, value education through yoga wants us to ask to ourselves. And all bad habits, even if we know they are bad, we follow them. And some good habits, even if we know them, they are good, we don't follow them. So be subjective. And also, are you able to what spiritual truths you are aware but you do not live by? What beliefs you continue to accept? You know that they are wrong, but still you are accepting. See the truth, how dimensions, and then do you believe in truth alone prevails? Satyameva jayate. So that is the, and so it is in this way. The next is brahmacharya, I think, which is very wrongly understood. Asteya. This is non-stealing. I mean, not consuming anything which doesn't belong to us. But then next is also there. Don't earn money for ego satisfaction. Next, please. Next slide. These are also some suggestions are there. Then asteya, non-stealing. Next is, I will highlight, next one is brahmacharya. Next. Yes, brahmacharya. See, brahmacharya also is misunderstood. Brahmacharya means energy management. How we manage, how we utilize our energy, for what cause? Because Patanjali says that brahmacharya pratisthayam virya labhaha. When you are established in brahmacharya, there is the attainment of energy. So energy, concept of energy and brahmacharya are closely related. That to my energy, which is physical, mental, also spiritual, moral, all types of energy, how I utilize, for what purpose, I must, and that's the reason why brahmacharya means nothing but insight into one's own energy. And brahmacharya, one meaning of brahmacharya is that control over the sex. That is one meaning. But more wider meaning is that how I utilize my energy. That is brahmacharya. Next is self-questioning. This is the concept clarity. And next, some self-questionings. What is your understanding of power and energy? What is your understanding? Is money the only power? What? Then it is a very limited sense of power. So what is your understanding of energy? And the brahmacharya, and this consideration, this philosophy, this way of living life, this lifestyle is necessary for progress in any walk of life. And hence they are universal. Are you strong enough to honor your sexual boundaries? Ask yourself. That is also part of brahmacharya. How do you define creativity? What is the sense of producing more and more children is the creativity? What is your definition? That is very important to ask. Yoga makes us subjective and ask the questions, very deeper questions, and that is the reason why yoga is the best method of value education. Okay, this after that, yes. Some tips are there. And don't treat others as means. That don't treat others' energy as just means. That is, and be aware that every factor that is draining your energy, be aware of that. And trap of your personal power. What are the traps of your personal power? Money, status, wealth, sex, authority, and control. These are the traps. Be aware of those traps. Okay. And your biography. See, this is very important. Your biography means your way of life. Becomes your biology. Your way of life influences your body and mind and physiology, biology. So your biography, your thinking, your mind influences your body. So your biography becomes your biology. So next, these are this is aparigraha. Yoga is not against the collection of the objects. What aparigraha is that it is insight into one's necessity. A man of integrity must know what things I need and how much I need. Otherwise, I will be going on accumulating everything and anything, even if they are not required. So, these yamas, as I have said earlier, asanas are not simply body postures. They are also states of consciousness. Similarly, these yamas are also, they are states of, they reflect our values, our views about the life. And it is in this way, aparigraha is insight into what you call, insight into one's necessities. Next. Some questionings are there related to that. What you think, and these are very much important for students learning, learners in schools. Now, take for example, their box, which they carry to schools, and ask them to open and ask them to separate which things are necessary today and which things are not necessary today's class. It is in this way a sense of aparigraha can be developed among them. Okay, so next. This is some practical tips. Do not use your business for ego expansion. It's very important. Ego satisfaction. Next. So these are the niyamas. Niyamas are 5. Saucha, that is cleanliness. Santosha, tapa, swadhyaya and Ishwar pradhan. See, the last 3, tapa, santosha, swadhyaya and Ishwar pradhan are, they go to constitute Kriya Yoga. They go to constitute, and they are full of values. And learning them is the best form of value education. And Saucha, again, what is your definition of purity? 3 levels of purity: Kaya, Vacha, Manasa, physical cleanliness, mental clarity, and moral righteousness is Saucha. Saucha is not simply physical. Purity is both internal and external, mental and physical. You eat what you are. You eat what you are. And healthy body is considered to be a byproduct of discriminating and controlling. See, healthy body is the result of nourishment, discriminating what to eat and what to need, what is the purity and so on. This habit of purity has to be imbibed, spread among our children. Every parent wants their children to have some good habits. And one of them is the habit of purity, which is necessary in Corona days also. So, this is the sense of purity. And is there next self-questioning? Santosh is there. That method I applied for yamas. But here, Santosh again is a contentment or not feeling the necessity of anything. Who is happy? Happiness or pleasure is not the value education from yoga teaches that you get happiness not because you get satisfaction and happiness, not because you get things. It is only when you don't feel the need of the things you are really happy. That is the definition. Anyhow, Santosh is there. After these 3, after these 2, the coming are the constituents of Kriya Yoga. That is Tapa, Swadhyaya and Ishwar Pranidhana. They are the parts of Kriya Yoga, and Kriya Yoga also is very necessary for realizing the values. Rather, Kriya Yoga is the gist or crux of the value education. Bring me those, next one. Tapa Swadhyaya. First is Tapa. Literally and to greater extent, I explain these, and then what I am going to say is that these 3 go to constitute Kriya Yoga, and Kriya Yoga is the means of realizing values. And in what sense, that I am going to explain. But first, Tapa, austerity, self-discipline. Okay? And No, say earlier one, yes. And the message of tapa is, if you want something, you have to take the trouble. No pain, no gain. That is the message of tapa. Tapa is tapping. Tap, T-A-P, tap. Tapa is squeezing ourselves. Undergoing and bearing the troubles for better future. That is tapa. That is austerity. If I work today, I will be happy tomorrow. So, for better future, I must forego the temptations of pleasures in the present. That is the message. Deny to undergo tapa amounts stealing. If I want something, but if I am not ready to bear the undergo the difficulties, it means that I want life, what you call, insurance policy. I want life insurance policy, but if I don't want to pay the premium, it amounts stealing. Violence of aste. That. Or if one wants to be mother, one must be ready to forego the pain. So no pain, no gain. And this readiness to forego the present pleasures for better future is a form of tapa. That is the message of value education on behalf of yoga. So this is the tapa. And swadhyaya, self-study, education, learning to know inward memory, imagination, attitude of communication, and all this are the swadhyaya. And this swadhyaya is related with jnana yoga. Tapa is related with karma yoga, because karma requires hardships. And our karma, our action, that is tapa, for that purpose we must forego the difficulties, and our action must be based on our knowledge, and knowledge comes from swadhyaya, self-study. And swadhyaya means pursuit of truth, and pursuit of truth involves so many values which I have just now shown. Critical ability, open-mindedness, ability to question, all those things. So, this is the swadhyaya. Our knowledge, any program, I said that any project requires the ability, 3 types of ability. Kriya Shakti, that is related with tapa. Then we have, after Kriya Shakti, we have what you call Jnana Shakti, and then Ichha Shakti. And here Swadhyaya is helpful in building the knowledge, Jnana Yoga. And next is, and see, Kriya and Swadhyaya, that is work, and must be based on knowledge, must be accompanied by dedication and submission and commitment. And this commitment is pranidhana. Pranidhana means offering oneself, prostrating oneself, our commitment, our dedication. And here dedication is towards Lord, but it can be dedication towards any project. Strong will to realize the project is the Ishwar Pranidhana, or that is submitting oneself.